Welcome to Bloodline Breakthroughs, Innovations and Inspiration. My name is Elissa Baldwin, Director of National Patient Education at Blood Cancer United, formerly the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, and I will be your host today. We are excited to be back with our video podcast or vodcast series and hope you will join us for future episodes where we discuss the latest advances in treatment for blood cancer, as well as hear inspirational stories from blood cancer patients and survivors. On today's episode, we will be speaking to Lindsey and Thomas Kealey, who will be sharing about how to find joy and normalcy as you navigate the holiday season as a patient, caregiver, or loved one. Thomas is a preoperative and post-anesthesia charge nurse and was diagnosed with multiple phenotype acute leukemia, or MPAL, in July of 2024. After a relapse later that year, he completed his treatments in February 2025 and is now in remission. Lindsey is an instructor of human development and family sciences at Oregon State University and the author of Positive Choices, Social and Emotional Learning. Her experience teaching in elementary schools and higher education led her to create a curriculum that integrates neuroscience and problem solving to foster children's resilience. Together, this husband and wife team hosts the Brain It On podcast, where Thomas shares about his leukemia experience and Lindsey shares key learnings from her journey through her husband's cancer treatment to help others navigate adversity. And you might recognize them from a recent episode of the Bloodline with Blood Cancer United titled Supporting the Supporters, Real Talk for Caregivers. Welcome, Lindsey and Thomas.
Thank you.
Good to be here. Yeah.
Good to see you again.
Thanks. It's great to see you too. So, as you both know well, having spent the holidays in the hospital last year, it can be difficult to make it through and find joy during the holiday season. But being in the hospital isn't the only way patients and their loved ones might struggle. They might be isolated at home in an immunocompromised state or unable to travel due to treatment or infection risk. Today, I want to cover all of those situations and some strategies that patients and caregivers might utilize. Let's start with the general holiday season. We have Thanksgiving coming up in the US and also many religious holidays in December. So many people are used to decorating their homes and yards during this time of year. For patients in the hospital, what can be done to their hospital room to introduce normalcy and joy to the holiday season?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I would say that you can look at the holidays in the hospital as a unique opportunity to continue with certain traditions and to spread holiday cheer. And this might sound a little cheesy, but it's actually amazing. It's really important for your immune system to have calm and not have that stress buildup. So when you're able to channel, being in a hospital is kind of stressful. So when you can channel that into decorating the room and, bringing in twinkle lights and really making it a helpful and cheerful place, that can be really helpful for your morale and your mood, I think.
Yeah. You can, I know they usually don't want real plants in your room, but like maybe some
Yeah.
fake poinsettias or something, around the
One
room.
there.
Or,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Just like that. Um, or other small little decor things just to remind you that it's, the holiday season and, it makes your room feel a lot less sterile and
Yeah.
cold. And so if you're able to find the means to bring in little decorations here and there, it makes a big difference. It brought up morale in our hospital room, anyways. It was
Definitely.
very happy.
For the fall, we did leaves and pumpkins
Mhm.
Oh,
around our
fun.
hospital room.
Yeah.
Yes. And then we love little window clings. You can put that, at least we put it on our
Yes.
hospital window. So it's snowmen or pumpkins or whatnot. And
Mhm.
then for the Christmas season, we had a fake little tree and
Mhm.
little snowmen, different little things to bring smiles to our faces. We were also in the hospital for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. So we had,
Wow.
another glittery wall cling
Yeah.
and all kinds of festive items just to bring your
I
spirits
like
up.
those hats that you brought in.
Yes, we do have some New Year's Eve hats that we wore even, that I had
How
here for
fun.
the YouTube viewers, yes.
Yes. I love that. Oh my goodness. And just, it can also be fairly low cost too to buy little things like that. You can go to the dollar stores
Yeah.
and just get all these little tiny decorations just to bring a little bit of warmth into the hotel room. Like you said, not quite so sterile.
Definitely.
Right.
And nurses love it. Nurses and doctors would all comment saying, "Oh my gosh," some of them said, "I'm in Santa's workshop," you know?
Yes.
What is but I think it really helps all your providers feel more at home and more joyful too when they see your
Yeah.
hospital room looking like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
another thing we would do, is well, we brought in our own little streaming device to hook up to the Wi-Fi
Mhm.
at the hospital.
Okay.
So we would go on YouTube on our TV and we'd find, uh, little videos that maybe like 13 hours long, and it's just like, Christmas jazz with a, little background on it, but, we always had music going from, YouTube, depending on what the holiday
Mhm.
was, and,
Yes.
it just made the, yeah, employees wanna hang out in our room with us. We try to be yeah, create chill vibes and just make it a, yeah, cozy place.
Now it's a little
Absolutely.
controversial. If you start playing, Christmas YouTube videos on November 1st, you're gonna have some staff who aren't very thrilled about that, but, whatever the patient needs, I think they're
Exactly.
ultimately
It is your
flexible.
room.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
It is your room. That is what is important. Oh, yeah, those videos with the fire crackling
Yeah,
or,
yeah,
music playing in the background. Yeah, that's so nice.
We
mm,
just have, like, an Apple TV that you can connect to your, hospital TV, and it's a neat thing. Some people don't realize that they can have a streaming device that allows them to access things like that.
yeah.
Mhm.
Could be a
That is nice
Roku, could
too.
be yeah, could be a Fire Stick. There's, so many things out there you can use to do that.
Yeah, yeah, and it also brings those apps that you usually watch at home, so it kind of feels a little bit more close to your home TV.
Oh, yeah, right.
Definitely.
Totally.
Yeah. So, I'd like to talk about family and friends. Whether a patient is in the hospital or stuck at home, what can family and friends do to show love and care to the patient and caregiver? And are those things different things to do since the patient and caregiver might have unique needs?
I would say, again, another good question. There's so many ways that family and friends want to connect with you, especially around the holidays. I think their desire to show love, to show care kind of ramps up. And that can be a really wonderful thing. When we were in the hospital for his transplant, we gave everyone our address and our room number. So folks sent Christmas cards and little baskets. I have a friend who would send us holiday socks. So we always had fun socks.
Mhm.
Okay.
And just so I think families who are really far away love to contribute in that way, love to mail things. So that's was really neat.
Yeah, we get Amazon packages, like, almost every other day, just from, random family or friends and, yeah, just letting them know, like, how we can be accessed, and that there's a mail system within the hospital, yeah, opens them up to that opportunity to get to do that. They could order things on Amazon and have it shipped straight to us.
Very easy.
Yeah.
We had a coworker of yours who would send, crumble cookie deliveries through,
Oh.
DoorDash, is it Door or Uber Eats? And so
Okay.
a person would just walk in and say, "Here's crumble cookies." So, so many ways people can help from afar. So that's when you're in the hospital. And now that Thomas is out of the hospital, this is really our first holiday season where he's no longer in his transplant stay. We're back at
Yeah.
home. And a lot of people who are home kind of expect to return back to their normal life. However, if you're immunocompromised, then it kinda changes things.
Not quite the
Yeah.
same.
Not quite the same. So it's all about getting creative about how can people love and support you when you're in a different phase of life. And so for us, that looks like turning our front porch into a space where we have some couches that we ordered and we have some blankets because it
Oh.
gets cold in Oregon. And we have family come and just sit kind of distance, but we've turned that into our new living room where people can still socialize. We had a little Halloween get together
Yeah, just bundle up and
bundled up and we carved pumpkins outside and yeah, finding new ways to connect. But it's really beautiful when family and friends want to come alongside you during the holidays.
yeah. And now that we have, video technology too, things like FaceTime,
Yes.
um, Skype, whatever, there's a bunch of different ones out there, Microsoft Teams.
Mhm.
It's a great way to stay in touch and have some, you know, at least as close to possible face-to-face time,
Mhm.
with family. So that's definitely made us feel happy on the holidays to be able to still talk with, family and friends on those, occasions using video technology.
That's wonderful. I love to hear that. It's great to be able to still connect even if you can't be around people. just for, if you're immunocompromised or other reasons. So, what about helping out? Are there things that family and friends can do, including those that don't live close, um, to help out the caregiver and or patient during the holiday season?
Definitely. There's actually a resource called Lots of Helping Hands, and it's something that we've recently learned about. So it's almost like, there's Caring Bridge or Meal Train, different resources, but Lots of Helping Hands is a free website where you can set up an account where you're actually able to put everything that you need help with. And then your
Oh,
family and friends can join. They can sign up, for instance, if you need, some meals certain days of the week, or if you need someone to go pick up your prescriptions or different things like that and then drop them off on your porch, you can put all of your parameters, like we say, please leave it on the porch if you're not feeling well. So that's a digital way to connect with
Yeah,
folks.
it's a really cool resource. Yeah.
Yeah. And another thing you can do is just, even with text change, letting people know what it is that you need help with.
yeah.
We had a lot of family who would come and, bring food to us in the hospital. That was really helpful. And then we weren't at home. And so we had friends and family when we were in the hospital shovel our driveway and get the meal for us and just kind of little basic things that I think can be really, really beautiful when you ask for help from friends and family. It's a
Mm.
hard thing. Some people have difficulty asking for help, which
Yeah,
we can relate to.
sure.
But what we learned is that when you allow other people to help you, it's truly a gift to them because they feel good about it. It can brighten their day and it ultimately strengthens your relationship. So accept help. That's what I'm telling myself constantly.
Yeah. Most
Yes.
people feel like they want to contribute, and this kind of gives them a way to do that.
Mhm. Yeah, particularly giving them, things that they can do. So, like the meal
Yes.
train, like if you could use somebody to help clean or pick up the dog or take the dog out for a walk or,
Yeah.
something like that. It helps to have very specific things for, family and friends to do rather than just, "Let me know how I can help," and then that puts the onus on you to ask for help.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. One of the first things we had to learn was like learn how to ask for help and be
Yes.
okay with it.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
like she said, it allows them to feel blessed by doing it. Most people really want to,
Yeah.
and they will at the drop of a hat, help you in whatever way they can.
I think we had 3 different people offer to move us back from Portland to Bend when he was finally
Oh,
discharged after
Yeah.
his transplant. Different people said, "I have a trailer," and, "Or I have a truck. Let me come help you move." So it's really beautiful when you just put out there what it is that you might need and see who shows up and who would love to help bless you.
absolutely. So let's move on to the actual holiday. What if family and friends are not allowed to visit, whether the patient is in the hospital or isolated at home? How can a patient get or caregiver adjust to still bring normalcy to the day, particularly if they're used to being with friends and family during this time?
One of the things that I think was really beautiful that we got to do when we were in the hospital was have family FaceTime. And we made it extra fun because we told everyone to wear Santa hats on Christmas. So everyone was, most folks were together in Bend in their home, and everyone had hats on, and we had our Santa hat. So it was a way to kind of unify by one extra little layer where we have something in common. So that
Yeah,
was neat. And then another thing that I did was I got a little cookie decorating kit, you can get them at Trader Joe's or Target, and I brought that into the hospital, and we were, just doing little activities like that as the caregiver, something that we could bond over, providing a sense of normalcy and just making it something that was fun. But I think,
Yeah.
the Santa hat family FaceTime, that was,
Yeah.
something I remember still.
Yeah. For sure.
that's so fun. And just another idea, I remember during 2020 when, we couldn't visit our families, my family all got on video call and did trivia, which
Oh,
was
fun.
so much fun. There are those trivia sites that you can go and, you hook up with your phone and punch in, what your answer is. And those are also fun ideas. There's so many online games that you can do with family and just do a video conferencing platform like Zoom or Teams or something, and be able to still have that little bit of fun with your family.
That's a great idea.
Yeah,
We should do
definitely.
that. Yeah, I like that
Yeah.
a lot.
Super fun. So, now there's gift giving that I want to go over. I know it's really important for a lot of people. Is it still a good idea? Should they keep it small and simple, or feel free to do whatever is right for them?
Yeah, I suppose it would be best just to, you know, do what's right for you. Um,
Definitely.
we like we mentioned earlier, we have access to the internet and Amazon and things like that. So we would order things to be mailed to people's houses for Christmas or the holidays. And I think they even have options within the checkout part of a lot of websites where you can ask them to gift wrap it or whatnot and include a gift receipt.
Mhm.
That's a
Um,
nice feature.
yeah, so there's definitely been years where we've done that, and people have done that for us. Um, yeah, but if you're gonna have some items sent to someone's house for someone else, uh, you might want to let them know. I made that mistake once when I ordered a pair of boots that were intended for Lindsay, but I didn't want her to know about it, so I had to do it on a different Amazon account, and I mailed them to my grandmother, and
So she could deliver them to me.
right,
Mhm.
and I thought I told her, but I guess I didn't, and so one day she called me up and was started thanking me so much for the boots, and
Really nice
she
boots.
really loved them. They were a bit small for her though, so she thought maybe she can go back and get a different size. And I was like, "Oh, yeah, shoot, those were meant for Lindsay. I'm glad you like them though. If you want a pair, we can get you
We could
some."
do that, yeah.
Come to find out, my aunt had to come over and help my grandma get these boots off because they were
They were
stuck
stuck.
on,
Yep.
when she
No.
was trying them on. So,
So if you're the patient and you can't go
yeah,
out and buy gifts for people, utilize an Amazon, sending it to someone else and let them know what you're doing.
just communicate.
Loop them in.
Yeah.
But certainly for our friends and family who wanted to bless us and give things to us,
Mhm,
we were able to communicate that with them about things that we actually really needed,
mhm,
things for our Ronald McDonald House. We were going to be discharged from the hospital to the Ronald McDonald House. And so we were able just to create an Amazon little gift wish list. And for families who are like, no, we really want to give it to you. At first, we said, oh, just send us cards. We'll keep it small. But for folks who really did want to give something, we said, here's our wish list. So different items that we were able to decorate this new space we were moving into was really, really
yeah,
special.
That's great. Yeah, a wish list is a wonderful idea that you can put together. And if friends and family do ask what you need, what you would like, that is a great way to just send that off to them and know that they are getting you stuff that you could really utilize. Particularly if you're in the
Yes.
hospital, you can't just get a bunch of things sent to you. So it
mhm,
is good
Need a moving
to
truck, right? Yeah.
specify. Yeah, yeah. Get a moving truck when you go home. That'd be a
right,
little awkward.
right.
So I also wonder, do you have ideas on how a patient might be able to shop for their caregiver for a gift or a card? I know we mentioned online shopping and gifts can be a little bit easier, but cards seem a little more difficult, particularly if you want to sign the card or write a little note. But I know that patients still want to give love to their caregiver or their partner, spouse, or sibling, parent. Um, do you have any ideas on what they might be able to do?
Yes. Well, something that I did is I love Dollar Tree and Target, but Dollar Tree is a great place to go for cards.
Mhm.
So I would go there and get just a handful of whether it was Christmas or for us Valentine's Day cards, and I would put them in a little envelope and I'd give it to Thomas, and he would, look through it and pick one that he wanted to use for me. So that way it was still kind of a surprise. I knew it was going to be one of 5 card options, but it was almost like his little way to shop for a card for me. And, he'd use the other ones for other family members. But I think there is something really beautiful about having a tangible card that you can write something in and sign, as you mentioned, and allowing the patient that opportunity can be a really beautiful thing. There's also, crafting. At OHSU and the bone marrow transplant floor, they had a special person who would do arts and crafts with folks. She would also
Oh,
just drop off, a box that had different art supplies if you didn't want someone in your room. So that was something that people could do. I don't think that's quite your speed. Crafting isn't
It's not
your love language.
yeah. Yeah.
So we did the Dollar Tree card option, but certainly making things would be another great way to show love and to give cards out.
I love that. So next we have religious practices that I want to go over. There are so many religious holidays in December that are very important to many patients and their loved ones, whether patients are in the hospital or unable to leave their room. Do you have strategies for them to still be able to participate in religious practice or observe the holiday without being able to be there in person?
Definitely. Well, something that we still do is we watch our church online. It's something that, we cannot wait until we can go back and be a part of church services again. Thomas is actually like a worship player. He plays the bass and the drums, electric guitars. Anyway, that's something he really misses. But while he's immunocompromised, we cannot go to church in person. And this was
Yeah.
certainly the case when we were in the hospital. So we watched church online. We just streamed it from our little Apple TV on YouTube up on our hospital TV. So we got to participate
Mhm.
kind of in that way. Our church actually does communion every week. And so we would kind of make it fun, especially on Christmas. And we would find different things like what's going to count as our cracker, our bread, and,
Milk and a
sometimes
cookie.
milk and a cookie. We do cookies a lot for that. So just creating new little mini traditions. But I think ever since COVID, a lot of religious places and groups have been able to switch to, screen, not screen share, but streaming, where you're able to
Yes.
have
Mhm.
people tune in from a distance. So that's been a good thing for
Yeah.
us.
Great option, definitely.
Mhm. And it might also help too if, say, your religious leader could come to the hospital and see you at some point, maybe not on the actual holiday, they might be a little busy, but,
Yeah.
True. It's like the
somewhere
Super
around
Bowl.
there or have somebody else who is, maybe higher up or a volunteer come to be able to
Mm,
be with you, or, provide communion or, other practices that are really important to people.
Yeah.
definitely. I think that's why this is such a good conversation we're having today, because people like right now, I didn't realize that's an option. I mean, that's a great idea. Reach out to someone in your church or your group and just say, is someone available to come meet with us? We never did that, but that would have been kind of cool.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's a little
And,
harder when you're 3 hours away from home, but,
It's a big ask.
when you're in the same city, that's a little
That makes
easier.
it easier.
and
Mhm.
I know your on-site chaplains are usually happy to help too. There's a chaplain
Yes,
for almost everyone, whatever faith you might have, and, they're a great resource and, may be able to help you, uh, coordinate even someone from your church being able to come in and visit. They're used
definitely.
to dealing with things, of that sort. Yeah.
And our, pastors called us a couple times, and it was
Mhm.
really sweet. So and that also comes down to knowing and asking for your needs to be met. So reaching out to someone in your church or your faith organization and just saying it'd be really special if someone could make a connection, be it over phone, Zoom, or in person. And just knowing that's something you can do, again, would give someone a lot of joy knowing that they could help you in that way.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely. And I do want to let patients know they can absolutely ask your treatment team for a
Yeah.
Yeah,
chaplain to come
okay.
over. So if it's not somebody that if the chaplain isn't somebody that you see regularly, just asking your treatment team, asking your nurse, nurse on staff, just say, hey, I'd like to come see it. I'd like to see a chaplain, and they will get somebody over for you within your faith. So it's very important to speak up again about the needs that you have. So we've covered quite a bit, but are there any other holiday hacks that you'd like to share?
Think spread joy in whatever way is meaningful to you, whatever way brings you joy. But I know for us, we bought Santa hats for different people, like just like a box of Santa hats, whoever wants them. We would wear them around the hospital. When we were discharged, we would wear them around the Ronald McDonald House. And it just brought people so much joy. People would grab a hat and they'd take it because, germs.
Love
But
it.
just, walking around, even for Halloween, we had little fake mustaches on our masks because you have to wear a mask at OHSU. And it
Mhm.
was part of our Halloween costume, but other nurses grabbed some and kind of joined in. But I think when you consider being sick with cancer, blood cancer, bone marrow transplants, recovery, survivorship, the holidays can be hard.
Yeah.
And it can feel quite a great deal of heaviness. And yet you also have permission to add levity and to infuse joy, even in simple ways. I think it can go a long way.
Yeah.
There's the holiday wreaths. We would change the holiday wreaths in a bowl that we had in our room, whether it's Easter eggs or Christmas trees or ghosts or whatever. The staff would enjoy, partaking in that, and we enjoyed having it be a conversation piece,
Mhm.
and getting to, bless them and, I don't know, just spreading joy in a way like that just allows you to open up yourself for joy, I think.
Definitely. I feel like when you're in the hospital as the patient, people are constantly providing care to you, and it can be really hard to give back because you're always just kind of getting this care. So when you're able to put a bowl by the front of your hospital room and you're able to say, "Oh, please help yourself to a, holiday snack or whatnot," it really like, I think it gives you joy because you know that you're helping in a small way or you're providing care in a small way to your care team. That was actually the advice of Thomas's cousin, who is a nurse. She used to be an oncology nurse. And I said, "What can we do?" At the very beginning, we were just moving into the hospital for induction chemo.
Yeah.
And she said, "Get a bowl, fill it with candy, and keep it by the front door of your room." And that was a great tip. We do it everywhere.
Mhm.
That is such a good idea. Definitely become the favorite.
Yes.
Yeah.
Your
Mhm.
water glass will be filled very quickly.
Yes. It's
That
always
call
good to
light
be the
works like
favorite.
a charm. Mhm.
I love that. Now, Lindsay, you brought up, the difficulty of
Mm,
going through this during the holidays. I'd like to talk about grief. I
mm,
think we often think that that only means losing a loved one, but there is so much more to that. We can have grief for a loss of normalcy, grief of a life we had lived before cancer. What would you say to families who are experiencing grief during the holiday season?
mm. I think grief is really heavy, and I think it's so important to acknowledge. We can kind of push our grief aside, but there's the 3 ends of grief. Thomas is better at this than I am. We've been reading a lot about grief recently. Thomas's mother passed of pancreatic cancer in September. She passed away after a long time of going through treatment, and so certainly, as you mentioned, there can be grief when someone passes away like we're
Yeah.
experiencing, and then also grief of losing your normal life. And so grief is natural,
Natural, necessary was the one I remembered.
and I think normal might be the last N,
Mhm.
but it's so important to normalize your grief and know that there's things that you can do. You can hold space for all your feelings. In our interview we did before on the Bloodline, we talked about just the importance of being open with your feelings, sharing them with others, and also giving yourself so much grace when you're going through grief because it can be really exhausting. And just know it's okay to be disappointed,
Mhm.
even if you
Yeah.
have so many blessings in your life, which you are truly grateful for. You can be happy and you can feel sadness or disappointment. It's that both and allowing
Yes.
yourself to feel multiple things. I believe your counselor says 2 things can be true. So holding space for all those feelings is really important for your grief.
Yeah, I think that's really important because a lot of patients feel like they should just be grateful, particularly if
Mhm.
they
Mhm.
are doing well, if they
Yes,
have gotten into remission. They just should feel grateful when there is that heaviness still. It's still difficult, even if you're doing well, and it's still okay to be sad. It's still okay to grieve the life you had that wasn't
Mhm.
so difficult, that was not filled with cancer or, all of this on a daily basis that you just can't break away from, that it's okay to feel sad about that.
Totally.
definitely.
Yeah.
There's the different stages of grief. I know a lot of grief research talks about the different stages, and I recently read an article. It was on a website called What's Your Grief? It's a wonderful resource that I recommend, and it's for not just patients, but people who are supporting patients, like caregivers, also, professionals, doctors, and the like. It's helpful for them to understand grief, but they have a variety of articles. I recommend that website. Our grief counselor recently shared that with us. We're doing grief counseling through hospice, which is a service that was provided when his mother passed away. So that's been really helpful. But there's a variety of articles on what's your grief that can be impactful. One of which describes grief in the context of a season. So, as I mentioned, there's the stages of grief, which some researchers lean heavily into. But if you think about seasons, the natural seasons in a year, like in Oregon, especially when it gets really cold and you see the plants wither and die and your garden, really doesn't look like it does in the spring or in the summer. And I think that's what grief can be like. It can be going through the coldness of winter, but when you make it through to the spring and the summer and you see the flowers come back and the vibrancy return, it's just a testament to your strength and your resiliency. So grief, I think a lot of times is like weathering the storm, knowing that it's a season and knowing that it will change is really helpful. Like we know that the depth of grief we experience with the loss of his mother certainly is felt now, and I know will be felt in the future. And yet, as time goes on, as our hearts feel more healed, it'll look differently. And I think just being okay with wherever you're at and know that when you get through these really intense, acute feelings of grief, it's just going to be a testament to the fact that you were able to make it through that cold, wintry season of your life.
Yeah. If just not having shame about
Mhm.
feeling what you need to feel. The only way out is through, they
Yes,
say, so just
He reminds me of that. I'd like to kind of have a fast pass
yeah.
to get around
Right?
grief.
Is there a lightning lane for that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're Disney fans, so, we would love just to book a lightning lane through this whole grief and sadness thing, but
Right.
be great.
yeah, gotta go through it.
Yes,
Yeah.
unfortunately, you have to just feel whatever you're going to feel, and it is okay to feel
Yes,
whatever emotions come up throughout this whole experience, even into long-term survivorship. It's okay to feel whatever you're going to feel.
definitely. Thomas has, graft versus host disease, so that's another thing through survivorship, a lot of folks who have a bone marrow transplant, they make it past their 100 days, then they make it to their year mark. Thomas has just celebrated 1 year in October post-transplant,
Mm,
and I think when you have, late stage graft versus host disease, it can really feel like it's setting you back, which it is with your blood counts. And so just as you've, personally dealt with, it's normal to feel that sense of grief when your recovery doesn't quite look like how you hoped it would look.
Yeah, definitely. So before we leave today, do either of you have some final thoughts for our patients and caregivers to give them hope going into the holiday season?
Definitely. What I would say is to look at this new season almost as a challenge. There's definitely, emotionally challenging aspects, but look at this as a way, how can we challenge ourselves to find joy and to make this a really unique season? Like you think about COVID and how all of us experienced COVID differently when things were shut down and we were apart. And
Yes.
yet, how did we all as a society thrive through that? So, finding little ways like, I wonder what I can find at the Dollar Tree today
Mhm.
that we can brighten our stay or brighten the lives of our nurses. So just go into it thinking, yes, normalize it. This is going to be different. And how can we find pockets of joy and make this a holiday to remember, truly?
mm, that's good.
Yeah. Well, that is wonderful advice. And thank you both so much for joining us again on the
Of course.
podcast. I will make sure to have a link in the description for your episode on the bloodline that patients and caregivers can listen to together. But we really appreciate you joining us today and talking all about how to find joy and normalcy during the holiday season and navigate the holiday season because it is so difficult sometimes. And so we want to be able to provide patients and caregivers a way to make it through.
Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Always happy. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you. And thank you to everyone tuning in to our latest episode of Bloodline Breakthroughs, Innovations and Inspiration. We wish you all a very happy holiday season and look forward to seeing you next time.